Today we'll be talking about the India's renewable energy growth. All right. Before I start this video, I want to clarify what renewable and non-renewable energy means. So, just let us spare a few seconds to understand what actually renewable and non-renewable energy is. All right. So, see, firstly, I'll tell about the renewable source. The very word renew means we can renew, right? Renew means to we can get it at, you know, it is at our fingers, right? Therefore, every sources of energy that are naturally replenished, you know, that are, you know, which we have easy access of and which do not run out over time, right? Those energy are called renewable energy. For example, we have solar energy, wind energy, hydropower, biomass, and geothermal energy. Whereas, contrary to it, another energy we have is non-renewable energy. As the word suggests, we cannot renew it, non-renewable. Therefore, these energies are the sources that comes from the finite reserve and cannot be replenished really quick. You know, we cannot replenish them, right? Once it is depleted, like it's not really easy to replenish. Therefore, few of the example of non-renewable energy are coal. When it is burned, it's very hard until then unless we make, we burn the hood again. So that's there. Next, we have petroleum oil. Once you put oil in a vehicle, right, you get some sort of mileage, and then it just burns, right? And then it's very, you from crude oil to petroleum, it's a big and vast, man-made journey, right? So those are, and for the, you know fact is that it can run out of, you know it can run out over time, anytime. That's why there's no, security of owning petrol or diesel vehicle. On that note, electronic vehicles, EVs have, taken the market because petroleum doesn't guarantee you lifelong service, right? So that's there. And another example is coal, petroleum, and natural gas and nuclear energy. So that was the quick gist of, renewable and non-renewable energy. Now we'll look into the India's renewable energy growth. All right, cool. Thank you so much for waiting, guys. So, India's renewable energy sector has experienced record-breaking growth in 2025, with installed, non-fossil fuel capacity surpassing 260 gigawatt and solar power leading the expansion. The country is firmly on task and track to ambitious target of 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuels energy capacity by 2030. So if I have to talk about the current status, India is doing really good. Firstly, India's total installed energy capacity reached 510 gigawatt by December 2025. That is up, 36% from the 375 gigawatt in the year 2020. So we have raised, 36% if we compare it back to 2020. You know, we stand very far, right? If we have to compare to 2020, so there's a rise of 36% in gigawatt, that is from 375 to 510. That's marvelous, right? Next is renewables here. Non-fossil fuel sources like solar, wind, hydro, nuclear, bioenergy now accounts for over 51% of total capacity in India. And that's really wonderful for our country. Third is solar power. Solar capacity jumped to 132.85 gigawatt in 2025. Here we can see a 41% of increase from 2 years back, 2024. We can see 41% of increase, you know, from 2024 to 2026. We have jumped to 132.85 gigawatts. In wind energy, wind installation rose to 54.51 gigawatt, making a 13.2 percentage growth. That's very nice again. And lastly, we have annual addition that India added 44.5 gigawatt of renewable capacity in 2025, nearly double the 24.7 added in 2024. Therefore, overall, India is progressing really good and they are gaining grounds in the renewable energy. Now we have few drivers of growth. What are the mediums or what things act as a catalyst to the growth of renewable energy in our India? Firstly, we have the government policies. Strong support through schemes like PLI, that stands for Production Linked Incentives for solar manufacturing and green energy corridors. So this kind of schemes help boost the workflow and the energy in domain of renewable energy. Therefore, as a result, it boost the work and again adds up to the high percentage of the renewable energy of our India. And second growth factor is private investments. Surge in domestic and foreign investments in solar parks, wind frames, and hybrid projects. So private investments also can add up a lot to the renewable energy of our India. And thirdly is technological advancement, where improved efficiency in modules, offshores, wind exploration, and battery shortage integration can help a lot in the growth of renewable energy in India. And thirdly, and lastly, and last but not the least, we have global commitments. That is India's pledge under the Paris Agreement to reduce the carbon intensity and achieve net zero by 2070. So that's there. All of these things are the driving growth factors for renewable energy in India. And we also have few socio-economic impact of the you know growing energy, growing renewable energy in India. The first socio-economic factor is job creation. Renewable energy projects have generated thousands of jobs in installation, manufacturing, and maintenance. Secondly, energy security. Reduced dependency on imported fossil fuels, crude oils from other nations, which improves trade and balance of our country. So really a wonderful point out here. I would like to highlight that it has reduced the dependency of crude oil from other nation, right? That's really nice. And third socio benefit, socio-economic benefit is environmental benefits. Significant reduction in carbon emission, aligning with the climate protocols of the international agreements. That's again. a very, very, very nice point. And fourthly, we have rural development, that in rural areas mostly they set up solar and wind projects which have boosted local economies and provided them a reliable electricity access, and also you know little money that they get monthly. When actually it's like they will be getting jobs, at least if they have given their land, they will be getting at least one job in the family, and they will get a sort of money on monthly basis. And again, they will also have a free electric access. Doesn't matter how much unit they use, but they do not have to pay any electricity bill. So in a way, it adds up and helps the ruler to improve and develop. So that's there. However, along with everything, the challenges is inevitable, and there are challenges. So on that note, the challenges of renewable energy in India ahead is grid integration. Managing variability of solar and wind power requires a strong shortage and transmission infrastructure, which brings me to the second point, that is finance. High upfront cost and need for long-term financing mechanism. This is where the corruption kicks in, and you all know it ruins everything, right? So if there's adequate fund allotted to the such investments, and if there's no red tapeism and mainly no corruption, then everything would be you know very nice, and the renewable energy of our India would immeasurably grow. However, in absence of red tapeism, corruption, and the government must allot their money in the renewable energy of our nation. So that's there. And third challenge is land and resources constraint. Land acquisition for solar parks and ecological concern for wind projects. Again, the third challenge is it's not quite easy to look for land, right? Because although locals, they do give lands after getting handsomely paid, but it's not easy to have access to lands. So that is also a problem, because not everyone will give their lands for money, not everyone will sell, right? So that's there. I don't know how valid this point is, but land and resources constraint is also one challenges ahead that lies in the renewable energy of our India. And third, I'm sorry, fourth challenges or drawback is policy consistency. The government must consistently make the policies that is appropriate, and which looks after the maintenance and growth for the renewable energy of our India, to attract sustained investment of global markets. So that's there. So lastly, the government must follow and formulate a policy which can help uplift and preserve and grow the renewable energy of our India. That's there. Now, India's renewable energy sector is poised to remain the fastest growing segment of its power industries. With continued policy support, technological innovation, and investment, India is well positioned to meet its 2030 target of 50 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel capacity, and establish itself as a global leader in the clean energy. So that's really wonderful. India is really, really doing good in this domain of renewable energy, right? And it is growing very nice. So, in summation, what I would like to say is, what I would like to say is that India is doing absolutely good. All right, India is doing absolutely good, not just in one or two domain, but holistically. And if we see in terms of energy, India's renewable energy growth in 2025 is exceptional, right? It reflects a decisive steps towards sustainability. The country's achievement demonstrate that its commitment to balancing economic development with environmental sustainability, right? So even though many challenges remains in India, not everything can be solved in any country in this planet. Many challenges remain, yet India's trajectory offers a model for other developing nation seeking to embrace clean and energy futures. So really appreciate it. The growth is phenomenal and unbelievable, right? The sector has grown so much in terms of renewable energy. Even I was shocked to look at all this report. So I really appreciate it, the ministry and all the people who are behind the curtains. So really great, and thank you for watching this video. Thank you.